So yeah, I'm Pat. I've I don't know. My wife is the one that knows words better than I. But I have been able to be the campus minister at NMC with His House this is my 11th year that we're finishing up. I've been on staff with His House for 15 years. And then including my internship would be 16, I think. But anywho, that doesn't matter. What matters is what you got to hear just in the last 20, 30 minutes or so. You got to hear from Jack. You got to hear from Emma. You got to hear from Ty and even a little bit from Leah. And then you got to hear some amazing people up here worshiping, leading us in worship, which is great. I am blessed. Now, one thing you probably heard again and again from the speakers is this idea of community. It's interesting when you look at the Old Testament, as you see God from Genesis, He makes a good world. We fall, and the first thing God does is He begins building a family. He calls families into a family ending up in Abraham and leading to the Jewish people. And then he says, you know what? All along I've been wanting more than just the Jewish people. I actually want everybody. And so God is into looking for partners to restore this world with him. And he's looking for family to do that. That's the term that he uses. We're called children in God. Family of God. And that's what His house is about. We see actually in Jesus praying in, I think it's John 17, where he actually says, how the world is going to know that I'm who I say I am is by how you guys love each other. That's what he prays. He prays, would they be one and would they love each other as they love each other? That's how the world's going to know. This year, the last 2 years even, I've gotten to witness that happening as we learned and dived into grace, and we've dived into connecting with each other heart to heart, connecting with God heart to heart, that being our pursuit, recognizing that God does not speak in manipulation, does not speak in guilt and shame, but rather invites us into relationship through His grace and love. And out of that, we have seen students grow. We have seen students change. We have seen students serve each other and others, which is what we're about over here. But it always starts here. It always starts with belonging, that recognizing that God cares about you and is glad to be with you no matter what. And I hope you've heard that in the people that spoke earlier. And so I get to witness that. And not only that, out of that has poured, God has brought leaders. And not just any leader. In a 2-year college, it's hard it's hard for leaders to get raised up and to pass the torch, and for people to have a steady leadership of people who are actually bought in to what God's doing on campus. And so campus ministry ebbs and flows depending largely on that, because I'm just one dude, and not perfect. And so this year especially, we have seen God raise up leaders. We have seen God grow leaders. Many of the ones sitting here, many of the ones you heard of from the video, the ones that you stood up here, and many, many more have led small groups, have shared the gospel, have served and made what we do happen. Harris and I could leave tomorrow and almost nothing would change. God's kingdom in His house, and more importantly, the people that would make His house, because that's what His house is, the people, would keep going, and that's because of what God has been doing as students have belonged to God, as students have served and they grew. And so I just want to thank you, because in many ways you have allowed, encouraged them to be part of this. And I just want to thank you for that. I want to thank you for what investment you've made in your students' lives. whether that be a friend, whether that you be a supporter, whether you be through prayer or financial, whatever way, you're here because somehow you have helped the students to be. And so thank you. As we wrap up, I don't need to say a lot more. I just want to I just want to thank you. I want to thank the people that got to be that helped make this possible, just this thing and all yes tonight. Thank you guys for coming tonight. It's still afternoon. But I thank all the students that spoke and that have helped. So can we give them a round of applause, just the students? And then there's some people, CLG, the church organization here, which again, the church is just people. And so I want to thank CLG, who are represented by a number of people. John's in the back running sound for us. So we can clap for him. The people in the back are the people you only notice when things go wrong. And so if I don't say that he's back there, no one's going to think about that because it went great. Anywho, I will say their names and I will not ask them to come out because they would hate that. But there are two women who are in the kitchen right now helping clean up, Sheila and Amy, and they love serving and hate attention. And so, which is usually the pair there. But we can clap for them too, can we? And I'm sure I will miss people, but I want to also just thank probably the two biggest helps to making this are my two partners. One, my partner for life, my wife, Emily. So let's give her a round of applause. And my partner in ministry crime, whoever that, as long as God lets me have him, Harrison Kramer. And so, yeah, I just want to thank you. Leah's going to come up here in just a second to kind of wrap us up and lead us into the last part of our night, or the last part of our day, where we can just hang out. But I just want to invite us to one more thing. This is not the reason you're here. The reason we're here is to celebrate what God has done. Is that clear? We're here to celebrate what God has done, and they're sitting at your table. And many of them aren't because they weren't able to make it today. But the students are the reason you're here, and that's what God has given and done things in. I just want to invite us, because it seems silly not to invite you to consider, if you aren't already, or even if you are, just giving to help continue the ministry at NMC. And so there's some response cards in the middle. Feel no obligation, but if that's something that the Lord has puts on your heart, I invite you to consider that. And there will be a basket. If you want to make a donation now, you can do that and put in the envelope. If you want to do something online, the instructions are on that card. Take that with you. And there's a basket, going to be a basket on that welcome table thing inside, or just out by the doors if you want to put something today. But again, the most important thing is that we're here to celebrate. So thank you for letting me be here. Thank you for helping our students be here. Thank you for how you have helped. You have partnered with God to help students at NMC know that God loves them no matter what and is glad to be with them. So thank you.